I'm going to start out just by kind of highlighting how you're going to get to each part of the page. So in order to look at your home inventory, you're going to sign in. And I'm just going to sign in as a student. So I'm signed in as a student, and the first thing that I see is my PowerHouse. Now, as a student who's not linked to home data, they're going to see the mystery house, which this is the same as it was before. So what I'm seeing right now is the mystery home, and it says that right there, mystery homes profile. So the new function of this home inventory, it lies right underneath the PowerHouse tab. And so if we click there, it's going to take us to this form that you can fill out. Now, currently this is filled out for the student's profile. So this is specific to the user. This isn't the mystery homes information. This is as if a student or a teacher or anyone was filling this out for their own home. So even if the student is linked to their teacher's data, they're still going to have this personal home inventory that they can work with. So the way that this is set up is we have it broken down into sections. So we've got the lighting section, and then if you scroll down, we have the kitchen, entertainment, heating and cooling, laundry, personal care, water, phantom loads, and then miscellaneous. And so within each category, you can put in the quantity, you can put in the power, and then how often it's on. So it's daily, weekly, or seasonally. So it gets you kind of thinking about how often you're using certain things. And then, you know, if it's on weekly, how many hours per week do you think you usually use it, or how many hours in a season? So seasonally is, we've estimated about 3 months for what a season would be. So think of like your Christmas lights. And then it'll calculate this average daily kilowatt hour based on what you put in. I'm going to go up and show you. There's a notes function. So on some of these categories, like as you can see in entertainment, you might have a lot of things in here that we didn't list. So some really specific electronics or something like that. And if you wanted to put those in, you would go down to this other, and you can show the notes, and that's where you can say, okay, this is my iPad, or it's my iPhone. So if those things aren't listed, in the notes section is where you can kind of expand on that information. And you can hide it if you want to. So once you've gone through your home inventory, and you know, if you were working with a group of students to do this, you could print out a blank home inventory, and that actually lives under classroom resources, under educator tools. And I can show you that really quickly just so you know where that lives, if that's something that you would use. So you would go to educator tools, classroom resources, and it's under energy use, and there's a home electricity inventory. And if you click that, that's just a download of a Word doc. So that's where you can find that resource. So if we go back to the home inventory, now normally if I had left that page, I would have wanted to save it, but since this was already here, it's already been saved. But just to note that you should save that every time you're filling in something new. So once you have your home inventory filled out, then you can click this View Chart button, and that is going to take you to this wonderful pie chart. And so you can see here it's telling you average daily kilowatt hours used based on what you put into your home inventory. And it breaks it down by those categories that I described in the form. And so this is a place where you can kind of start to think about, areas that you could improve in your energy use. So it's a good way to kind of give direction to a home investigation. So here, if you click on a part of the pie, when you roll over it, it'll tell you which category it is and the total kilowatt hours for that category. And if you click on it, then it'll break it down to all the different devices that are that make up that total kilowatt hour. And so you can see here the clothes dryer is really making up the bulk of the kilowatt hours used in that laundry personal care category. And then if you want to go back to the total, you click this button here, so the total pie. If you wanted to go back to your home inventory, back to that chart, then you would click here on the back to home inventory link. So, if you click on the laundry personal care and you see, okay, my clothes dryer is really using a lot of energy, but there's not necessarily anything if I'm a student, I might not be able to do anything about that. So let's check out the kitchen. That's the next, that's actually the biggest one. So that might have been where they went in the first place. And so now you can see how all these different appliances are contributing to that overall kilowatt hours used. And they can start to see which appliances are using the most. Again, these are things that they might not be able to really change, but it's good to know, and it's good to kind of have an idea of what's using a lot, and then you can think about how often you use those things and if you can change that. So when you go back to the total, you can click through all of these, but with lighting we've seen, and I'm sure, Peter, that you've had a lot of experience with people kind of honing in on lighting as being something that they can kind of take on as an investigation at home. So you can really see how it breaks down here and how many of the different light bulbs they have and how much energy they use. So you can really see, maybe they're going to try to convert more of their CFLs over to LEDs or something like that. So that is really mostly what I was going to show you for the home inventory. Now, good, okay, I can see that you're hearing me. Did you have any questions about the home inventory, or do you want me to go back and show you something else in there? All good, okay, great. So the next thing I was going to show you was the communities function. Does that sound good? Okay. All right, so under the My PowerHouse tab again, right next to inventory is communities. So this student is part of GMRI's PowerHouse community. So this is going to show you your user-specific communities that you're a part of. So if I were part of my First Block Teachers Energy Savers community, that would show up here as well. And so you can click on the community, and this is what it'll look like. You'll have an image, a goal, and then there can be threads of conversations, or this is an area where you could post assignments or kind of challenges for the week. People could also update on their progress if they're doing an investigation at home. So if I wanted to unsubscribe from the group, say I joined it, if it's a public group and I realized I didn't want to, you can just click unsubscribe here. And in this community that I'm already a part of, if I want to post one of those comments or an activity or anything like that, I'll go to the far right under group details, and then you see start a community, oops, and you can click on comment. So I want to make a comment. I can title my comment. So maybe I want it to be, maybe I'm proposing a challenge for this group. And then I'm going to select which group it is. So since I'm only part of one group at this point, then that's the only one I have the option of submitting a comment to. But if I were a part of multiple groups, then this is where I would choose, where this comment was going. I'd fill in the body of the message or the comment, and then I would save it. You can also preview it. And here under comment settings, the default is for open. So this means that when you post this comment, others can reply to it. So if for some reason you don't want that, then you can click close. But the default is for open. Now, this is kind of what you would do if you were already a part of a community. But let's say that you are not a part of any communities, or that really, in your case, Peter, if you were an educator and you wanted to start a community, and or if you were working with a teacher who wanted to start a community and add their students, I can walk you through what that would look like. So I'm going to sign out of the student account so you can see what it would look like for a teacher to do that. So bear with me for just a second. Okay, so I'm logged in as a teacher, and here is where if I want to create a community, I can go to communities, and on the right here it says create a community. You can create a school or public. So I'm a teacher and I want to create a school community, and the difference between those two is if I create a school community, I can only, as a teacher, add students or teachers who are part of my school. And so this is a community that just public users or any other users that aren't in schools won't be able to see. If you create a public community, it's going to show up right up here in this join community section. So these are the 3 public communities we have currently. And those are open for people to join. But some teachers, they might not want to do that because of certain permissionings that go around with students in a school setting. So under this communities here, I'm going to create a school community. Click on that. And since Peter's here, I'm going to call it MEEP. And so this is where you're going to select the school. So if you're working with a teacher, it's important that they choose the school that their students are going to be from, because that's when you associate with a school, then those kids also have to be part of that school in order for you to be able to add them to the community. So since I know that I'm going to be adding a student who's part of the GMRI community, I'm going to select that as the school. And so I'll just put in a little goal, because those are required fields. And if you have any additional things, so other than a goal, just maybe a description of the group or anything like that, you can put that in the body. This is where you can also, as you can see, you have the option to add links up here. So if I wanted to link this community to a certain web page, or if I wanted to add an image, you can do that in here. And then I can also add an image for my school group. You don't have to either. And then you can save it. So now I've created a school group, and you can see who created it. There's only one member. And I can go back in and edit it. So I can edit all of the things that I just put in there if I want to, or I can go to the group and I can go to add people. So people won't be able to search for these school communities because of what I said before about the privacy settings. So teachers are going to have to add their students to the community. So if their students have already created accounts, then I should just be able to add a student by just typing in their username. So I want to add the student that I was just logged in as, and it shows up. Here is where I would add an administrator member. So this is only in the case that, say, I'm a teacher in one classroom, in a science classroom, and I'm working with a math teacher and an ELA teacher. As the creator of this community, I can add other teachers in my school as administrators so that then they can add their students. So if I don't do that, they won't be able to add their students because they're not associated with me as a teacher. Does that make sense? I'll just pause for a second in case you have any questions up to this point. Okay, cool. So I put the student name in, and then I'm going to add the user. Okay, and if I go back to the community, now it says I have 2 members. And just to show you how this would work, I'm going to post a comment in this community. And so here's where I can select which community I want it to go into. And so you can put in what the assignment is going to be, anything like that. And then you'll save that. And now your comment's going to show up. It'll show you what it's going to look like. You can add another comment in the thread underneath it. But if you go back to the group details on this right here and you click on MEEP, or the name of the group, you can see homework shows up here. So now, if I sign out as a teacher and log back in as that student that I just added, and go to under my PowerHouse, go to communities, then there I go. Now I'm in the MEEP group, and I can click on it, and I can see, oh look, there's my homework assignment. I'm going to click on it, see what it is, and then I'll add my comment and save it. And now I can edit that comment. Other people will be able to reply. So what I see here is edit and reply. Other people, as are part of that group, will also be able to see that. So that's kind of a basic overview of communities. That's for your personal communities. When I go on join a community, this is where those public communities are going to show up. And creating a public community looks exactly the same as creating a school community. So if I were to click on that, I would see the same things, except for yeah, so I can actually make this public or private in here. So it looks just a little bit different, but the process is the same. So that's what maybe like a town community group or any kind of non-school group. That's where they would create their communities. But you can also create that through my PowerHouse and communities under public community. Does that make sense? I see we just had someone else join us. So I just kind of went through an overview of the home inventory as well as communities. But just so you know, I am recording this. So up until this point, I know that doesn't seem like anyone has had any questions so far, but I'll just ask again after I've gone through those two things. Is there anything that you want me to go over again, or whoever just joined, it just shows up as teacher, so I'm not sure who it is, but if you have any questions or anything you want me to show you, feel free to either add it to the chat or just speak up and I can go through it. So any specific questions, or Peter, do you feel like I went through those things thoroughly, or do you have any other kind of aspects of the website that you want to? Okay. And our newest member to this chat, do you have anything that you would like me to go over?
I'm not sure if you can hear me, Molly.
I can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. This is Terry. It took me 30 minutes to troubleshoot all the issues that my
Oh, that's
two
okay.
devices were catching. I'm just trying to get my bearings at the moment with the new program.
Sure. Well,
Um, Go ahead and continue. I'll type in and interject anytime I have a question.
okay, sounds good. Um, just for Terry, since she didn't see this, I'm just going to kind of point out where things are, things that I just went over for inventory and communities. Um, so here I'm logged in as a student, as you can see up here. And when I'm logged in as a student, the first thing that shows up is this page here, the My PowerHouse. And so like I said before, this is for a student that is not linked to their home data. So they're going to see Mystery Home, or if you as a teacher have linked your home and decided to share that with your students, then they'll see your home information for savings and electricity use here. But when you click on inventory, that is specific to the user, or in this case, to this student. So this is broken down into different categories. They can put in the quantity, power, how often they use the device, how many hours per day, per week, per season, and season is about 3 months is what we've estimated it as. They'll go through, complete this. For other things, they can add notes. So if we don't have something on the list, they can show the notes, put in what it is, and then hide the notes if they want. So they can go through this and save it. So it's all saved there for the next time they log in. And then to view the chart, they click on this. And this is where they see kind of the breakdown of all of the items that they've listed in all those categories. And then they can click on the category to see really what makes up, what percentage is my crock pot, what percentage does my stovetop kind of contribute to this overall kilowatt hours. So that'll take you back to the total. So if you want to click on another category like water, you can see there. So that's a very quick overview of the home inventory just to show you where it is. And I just finished going over communities, which is here. So under My PowerHouse, this is showing you the communities you're a part of. So this student is a part of the GMRI PowerHouse community and the MEEP community. And because I'm a part of these, I can click on under latest news. Those are things like comments, or if there's a challenge or investigation posted or an activity, I can click on them as a member. I can edit a comment I've made. I can reply to a comment specifically, or I can add a new comment, all within these communities I'm a part of. I can also, as a student who, I can go in and check out what public communities there are. So this educator community is public, and I encourage both of you to join this educator community if you want to kind of join a little conversation going on between some teachers about tips for getting families linked or different conversations we've had at other workshops. Just a good way to kind of have a conversation even though we don't see each other all the time. So if I were not, so as a student, I'm not a part of this group, so I can subscribe to the group over here on the right side under group details. There's a link